What's up, guys? I really didn't think I would be entering this year with an apology video, but you never really know how the cookie crumbles around here, and I was due for a scandal. It's been a while. I was due for the whole world hating me. I'm back. You can't get rid of me. I'm literally like the cockroaches. I've kind of gotten myself into a pickle. Today's video is not really one I'm nervous about because I kind of knew it was coming. And when I laid down in my bed and filmed that video back in December talking to you about mental health, I kind of knew when I filmed that video that that would be the start of others. You know, I should probably not. Much better. But obviously after uploading that video talking about my mental health, and I had just started to kind of let the public know a little bit about how I'd been feeling the past year and in my relationship and all that kind of stuff, I knew that that was kind of opening the door for me to continue to have to explain more. But obviously when that video came out, I got more praise for that video than I'd probably gotten for a video in the last year. Obviously, because it was me being the Tana that people followed me for, subscribed to me for, you know, used to fuck with, and that's me being like my most honest self. And so I was talking about that video a lot more. I was receiving a lot of praise about it everywhere I went. If I saw other YouTubers, like that was what they wanted to talk to me about, was that video. And it just like, it felt really good. And it was kind of like one of those things where I knew in the back of my head that the next video I would film would have to be a lot darker, because even after filming that video, things got so much darker. And I guess that's what makes me nervous about this video, is it's not even tackling the comments talking about MTV. Like I can explain all of that in 20 sentences. Like I know right now that the person that a lot of people might think I am online is not who I am, and I know what happened throughout that time that we were filming those episodes, and I can easily clarify that for you today. And I feel like if you watch this video, you will leave this video feeling hopefully a lot better about who I am as a person. I'm definitely down to go down as being hated for a lot of things, but like being a rude person or not a good person is not one of them. And I just need to explain a lot about the show and filming it and the time of my life and my relationship with Jordan and my health. And I have so many things to say about everything everyone is saying online. And please don't think, if you haven't tweeted me about this or left a comment or commented on the show or whatever, that I haven't seen everything you guys have been saying. I am very much the type of person where now when I receive a lot of criticism online, I'm not one to be like, oh my God, like people just hate me. Like I'm just so hated. Like this is a scandal. Like, people want to cancel me for no reason. I know the difference of receiving comments from people who love me that are like concerned and angry or like upset by something I did, and like haters, you know, just like hating for no reason. And obviously I was seeing an abundance of comments from people who love me and were clearly just let down. And it's like, I want to explain myself and clarify all of that. So I will get into that in a second. But first, there is a lot of backstory. I feel like in order to make all of this make sense, that's where this video becomes a fucking podcast. I mean, I obviously knew that the second video to that video laying down in bed wasn't going to be like 5 minutes long, but now I have like 100 fucking things to talk about, and I'm definitely going to be filming for like the next 2 hours, and you're going to have to listen to me talk about a lot of stuff, but I will try to condense it as much as I can and get to the point, get to the facts, tell you where I'm at now, give you an update, hopefully make you realize that I'm not just a complete person, let you in a little more in what happened over those months from December to kind of now, let you in a little more on my relationships with people like Jordan and Ashley and Amari and Trevor, talk about the show and filming it and how I feel about everything online right now. And then by the end of this video, which is what's going to make it like extraordinarily long, I do want to talk to you about just the health of the world, health in general. Obviously there are thousands and thousands of people right now tweeting me saying like, you don't care about people's health, like what the is wrong with you? And I want to clarify how I feel about that, because I think it's so insane to have thousands of people telling you that you like don't care about the world's health, when that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. And just clarify how I feel about that, and then start talking to you about what I've been working on for the past 2 weeks, which is all of the things I can do with this platform to help the world and help people. And even over the past 2 weeks, I think I've realized like my eyes have really been opened to the amount of people that are like just seeing the things that I do. And I think with everything that's going on in the world right now, while I have all eyes on me over like MTV drama and just in general, the amount of people that watch the things that I do, I want to do as much as I can for the world with that right now. All of this will tie into that towards the end. But now, without further ado, let us get into this long ass video. Hey Ashley, do you care about my health?
Obviously.
Love you.
Love you.
So anyway, I don't even know how to like dive into this. I guess I want to start off by saying a lot of the things I'm about to say hold a lot of weight. And I just hope anyone watching this fully understands that I understand the weight of the things that I'm saying. I mean, there's a reason that I went offline for a few months. There's a reason that the only thing I was doing was shooting my show and nothing in those spaces. 2019 might have been one of the most successful textbook years of my life, but when it comes to my mental state, it was absolutely hands down in my 21 years of life, the worst year of that. And from January to December of 2019, I crumbled, to like be real. And I think by the end of 2019, I just had like beaten myself up in every possible way to the point that I just like, I wasn't even a person and I was fully at rock bottom and I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself. I did not want to live in like every sense of that. And I was doing so many things that would have killed me if I didn't stop. I got to a point where I didn't care about like living at all. And I think it was a culmination, don't get me wrong, of my entire 21 years of life. It's not something that I like talk about or open up about a lot online, but like I don't even know how to say it, but like my childhood was just the worst thing on earth, and I'm very lucky to have gotten out of that. But obviously I spent like 15 years of my life being so incredibly emotionally abused and physically abused and like mentally abused and just like tormented, and like I was raising myself all of those years, and like I built up so much hatred for my parents and like so much anger for like the entire life that they'd given me, and it was like instantly I got thrown into this way out. And obviously when you have a way out of a life like that, you're going to take it, especially when it's the thing that you're most passionate about. And the second that I started rolling the ball on YouTube, I obviously was living my like dream life. Everything I felt up until that point was something that I just like bottled in. And I spent the next like 6 years, like 5.5 years really, just continuing to bottle in any emotional pain that I could, while I was also just like snowballing into a bigger and bigger point of fame. And like months before I started my YouTube channel, my best friend died, and I was spending like the days filming and the nights just like staring at the ceiling, like trying to figure out what the fuck I feel, like, you know, like bottling in the depression. And then it's just like fucked up relationships and like crazy abuse in relationships, and just like ever since I was 15 years old, I've been struggling with numbing things out with anything. I mean, I've been smoking weed since I was like literally 13 years old. It wasn't until I was like 20 that I kind of realized, wow, I've like been numbing out everything I felt in the first half of my life in these last 5 years, all while being in the public eye and just making jokes about it and like not understanding how like dark that is, and like also not wanting to get help because it's like my life was so perfect and like, you know, and I just let it continue to pack in and in and in and in. And I really up until 20 thought that like that was fine and I was happy, and like, you know, there were lots of bumps in the road, don't get me wrong, but I was always able to pick myself back up and continue to have that energy and continue to have that motivation and like be Tana and do all of the things that I like love doing and film the videos that I love filming, and was meeting all of you. But obviously as that was happening as well, my life was transforming into, slowly but surely, every second of my life being something that the public would see, and people scrutinizing everything about me, from the things that I say to the things that I wear to the things that I do, and still continuing to try to build a business on top of that, all while seemingly not really letting that affect me. But and then obviously I started working 10 times harder because I realized that this like YouTube thing could be turned into an entire business. And then you're faced with the fears of like not knowing if you'll have this in 5 to 10 years. So you're working as hard as you can. While you have this opportunity, you want to do everything you can with the platform that you have. But I was also becoming so aware of the fact that like I wasn't raised at all. I love my parents, but like they just weren't meant to be parents. And it's hard because it's like I told myself for a while that I like forgave them to an extent for like all of the shit that they put me through. And it was over time that I realized I kind of was just like packing it all in and, you know, pretending to forgive them with the excuse of like they were stupid, they didn't know what they were doing, they both had really fucked up lives, like so on and so forth. But it's like over time that just began to really eat away at me, and the trauma. I guess I didn't really understand the effects of trauma obviously until I started to like really feel them. I started having flashbacks of like everything bad that had ever happened to me, whether it's like abuse in relationships or flashbacks from, you know, my best friend and his life, and flashbacks from my childhood, and just all of this shit that slowly began to really like affect me, all while I'm trying to be the most like unaffected person. And then I'm realizing that like I'm having to raise myself, I'm having to play catch up also in the public eye. Also while doing all of this, I'm trying to like raise myself, and I'm realizing that Jordan is filling the position and has filled the position for the last 5 years of someone who raised me. And like I accredit me being alive today to Jordan over the past 6 years. I know if you've seen anything on MTV, you wouldn't believe this right now, but I will get into that more learn a little bit. But over the past 6 years, we have become like best friends, like family. The person that I talk to all day, every day. We have a complete family relationship. And then 20 and 21 for me, we're realizing, you know, that Jordan, Amari, Ashley, Trevor, those are the people that filled the void for like what I never had. And then I spent the next few years in Hollywood just really obviously growing more because my life was so chaotic and people wanted to like stay tuned, but also filling the void of like the love that I never got with so many things, with drugs, with people, with alcohol, with sex, with just distractions in general. And I'd always been a distracted oriented person. And I always thought that that was like the solution and that would work. Up until Jake Paul, that did work for me. I was always just on to the next thing. If something broke my heart, if something upset me, if anything, I was just instantly doing whatever I could to distract myself. I said this in the last video, and I'll fast forward through this stuff because I've already said it, but like going from 2 days out of being broken up with Brad into Jake Paul and going as fast as we possibly can until we get married was for my mental health, not a good thing to do. But distracting myself is all I knew, and at the time it felt so incredibly right. And I was just living it like day by day, and I thought I could handle it. I thought I could handle so many people hating me, so many questions. I thought I could handle the inner strife between Jake and I just wanted to make it all work. Eventually it all became too much. And shooting season 1 of my show was one of the most stressful times of my life as well. The show being out did so many things for me that changed my life. Business-wise, changed so many things for me when it came to traditional media, people wanting to work with me, and like MTV really just like took me in, and they really wanted me to do a season 2. And even as season 1 was releasing and I was seeing the episodes, I was seeing how MTV was editing me kind of in a way that isn't exactly like how I act on a day-to-day basis. But I understand that that's what a reality show is. It's filming people for 80 hours and then turning that 80 hours of footage into a 30-minute episode. MTV, who is obviously putting the money into doing all of this, wants to make it the most dramatic, interesting 30 minutes they possibly can. So what are they going to take from that 80 hours of footage? The craziest parts. And sometimes conversations are dramatized. I hate that I'm taking the L for saying this right now, but I would much rather people like hate me for saying, hey, sometimes the conversations are dramatized on my show, than hate me for like being a bad person or an asshole. Season 1, that was a big hurdle getting through that, kind of watching people potentially misconstrue me for a way that I am. Like a lot of, for example, in the birthday party episode where Jake and I are fighting and he says the famous line to me like, my brother fucked my ex-girlfriend but you hurt me more, whatever the fuck it says. That night had so many more things going on and played out very differently for all of the parties in that episode, but I know that MTV wanted to cut it together to be something like dramatized, because it's like that's what a reality show does. And people were still loving the show and coming to me and ranting and raving about it and like enjoying it so much that I was like, fuck it, whatever, that's what this is. If I wanted the show to be edited the way that I edit my YouTube videos or the way that I would edit it, I wouldn't be doing this show with MTV. That's the point. I let them come film me. They edited how they edit their fucking reality shows and shit. And sometimes things might be a little cringier than I would have edited them. Or sometimes they make things look really set up in that MTV corny reality show way. Or sometimes things are dramatized, or they use a clip of me yelling at Jordan to fucking someone else so I look like a bitch, and oh my god, it's a reality show, whatever. And like, I thought I could handle that to an extent. And after shooting season 1, right after it aired, I ended up agreeing to do a season 2 in the next like 6 months or so. And when I agreed to that and signed that paperwork, I really didn't think I would decline overall as a person, my health overall, as much as I did. And I think that MTV obviously kind of saw that happen. I think they were kind of waiting around for Jake and I's conclusion, if we were going to break up or stay together, what was going to happen, for them to start filming season 2. I know that I should have stopped after the holiday special, because at that time I was already so depressed from like the Jake shit, the Big Bear shit, the Alyssa shit, everything. And I don't blame Jake at all. I don't blame anyone at all. I don't want any fucking pity from anyone at all, because this entire video's point, you know, is like, I got myself into this mess and feeling this way, and the only person that can get me out of it is me. It was just hard for me. I had really unrealistic expectations. I didn't want to face the fact that Jake and I were getting to the point of like breaking up or splitting up, and I was doing everything in my power to avoid conflict, because I just like had spent so much time expressing to Jake that I didn't want to ever be that, and it's like I knew it was coming and I was avoiding it at all costs, and it was making me fucking sick. Like I was just like laying in bed all day, every day, like I couldn't breathe. And I'd spent so much time around people that I wanted to be like, or whose lives that I loved, and I loved the way that they were, and so much time in that like Team 10 world trying to be something that I wasn't. And don't get me wrong, in so many ways it rewarded me, and I made really great content and like got a lot of work done, and like it taught me a lot about work ethic and what I have and opportunity. But I also lost so much of who I was, that I was just like at this point where it was like I felt so lost, and I was just so exhausted mentally from the last year and the last 20 years really, and shooting the show and people's opinions and just meetings and yelling. And it's like Jordan and I were fighting just like every single day about so much business stuff. We were overworked so much. We had so many meetings, and he was trying so hard to like get me out of this mindset once he realized how bad it was, I think. And after shooting the holiday special, my mom came into town, and the holidays and family and all that was just fucking me up so much. And I was just trying so hard to like actually forgive my parents, and I end up kind of like bringing them back into my life. And I fly my mom out here, and like this topic is another video within itself, another one of these, and one that will be even harder to film than this one. But my family, it's just like so fucked up, and I don't really think it's reversible. And my mom came into town, and we were trying to figure out what to do for the holidays, and I was just dreading the holidays so much because it's just spending so much money on materialistic for people that like you don't even want to do it. And like I felt like I was just doing it for everyone else but me. And it was like the first year of my life where I really felt like just like an adult during the holidays, and it was just so depressive, and like I just like didn't want to do anything or think about anything. And every time I thought about life, it was just like so heartbreaking to me, because it was like about to be Christmas time, and my mom comes into town. We end up getting into this like psychotic fight that just like really brought me back to my childhood. It was so dark and so bad, and it was like the final moment where I realized like my parents might not ever understand how I feel or what they did to me, and I can't look for anything in their like approval, or they're never going to like say sorry in the way that I want to hear. And like the conversation, it ended up just turning into my mom literally screaming at me in my own house, and I like break down sobbing. And it's like in that one night she like brought everything from my childhood like back to me, and it ended with me just being like, if you are gonna talk to me like this in my own house, like just get out. And my mom leaving, and my dad calling me, and just like, you know, telling me all this up shit that like again just was like bringing me so back to like the worst time of my life. And so my mom left that hour on a plane back to Vegas. My dad called me, like I said, just freaking the fuck out and talking to me like no parent should ever talk to their kids, just reminding me like why I've distanced myself so much from these people. And like it's just so sad as time goes on, seeing how much they like don't understand me and never will. And obviously just like feeling alone in that. I feel like that night was the night that I like really picked back up my like Xanax problem again. And that is another video I've actually already filmed for this series, talking about like drugs and their effect on me, and how it's, you know, how I've kind of struggled with that like my entire life. But then I just started hanging out with so many people in Hollywood that are in that crowd, and every second I was awake, I was doing everything I could to numb everything I was feeling, all while still trying to like fix my life in the public eye. And Jake and I were just like fighting every day, and it's like I felt so far away from this person that I once felt like understood me better than anyone in the world. And it was like finally the solidification of like, y'all are gonna fucking go your separate ways, and you have to accept that. And it's still hard for me, but like that was what had to happen. And then MTV was like, hey, like we want to shoot this season right now, and you have to. I was having a lot of conversations with my friends and with Jordan and with MTV at the time that was like, the only way I can stomach filming this season is if it's brutally honest, which now I just like hate saying out loud. And if me struggling mentally and physically is filmed, I'm fine with showing that to the world if there is a message behind it, if there's a greater good behind it, if we can help people with that. I verbatim sat down with Jordan and MTV and had these conversations, and we all kind of came to the conclusion that that's what season 2 would kind of be about. It would be about the journey of me trying to better myself mentally and physically. But I also knew in the back of my head that I wasn't ready for that. I look back now and I realize I just like wanted to be sad. Not necessarily wanted, but it's like all I could do. And I was just getting more and more and more and more depressed, and when I get really depressed, I like shut down completely. There's nothing anyone can say to me that is going to get me out of it. I like stopped getting out of bed for days. I literally stopped going to the bathroom. I hold my pee and will like literally lay there in bed for days until I'm like struggling. Like that's how depressive I get. It's like everything in my body just like can't do it. And this like level of depression was so different than anything I'd ever felt in my life. Like I thought I'd wanted to die in the past. I thought I'd been depressed in the past, but it was like after that shit with my family, every second I was getting like flashbacks, and every second I was dealing with all of the stress of what was going on with Jake and I, which I created for myself for the most part. Really, he was just like trying to box in Big Bear and like figure this shit out. Every chance that I got, I was just like numbing it out as much as I possibly could, trying to sleep every second of the day away. And it got to the point where like people in my life, like Ashley and Amari, were like literally coming down to my room to like see if I was alive, you know? You can check on me like that. And like it got to the point where it was like Jordan was realizing that like it was actually really bad, and I think he didn't know what to do because it's like this season was coming up. We were about to start filming and everything was so stressful and so bad. We both just wanted things to be right, and we'd have good moments, but it was like we just saw things so differently, and that's because my vision was so clouded. And it's like Jordan was so used to just kind of picking me up when I fall, and this time it was like there was nothing he could say or do to get me out of this one. And then my health just really started failing, and I was smoking like backwoods every second of every day to be as high as I possibly could, to be like as numb as I possibly could, just kind of writing it off as like, oh, I'm a stoner, like haha, I want to die, like, you know, I don't want to live, I smoke a lot. But it was like so much more than that. And I just like hate saying this because I feel like this is one of those sentences where like once I say it I can't take it back. And that's why this video is so nerve-wracking for me, because like I know that after this a lot of people will look at me a little differently. I have to accept that, because I would rather people watch this and know the truth and look at me differently in this way than watch these MTV episodes and like think I'm that person. And I think it's good that something like this, like scandal, is prompting me to finally say all of this so people can understand where I was like coming from shooting that episode and where I'm coming from now, you know. But I was definitely like at the point of taking Xanax where it's not that I was trying to like overdose. And I hate even saying any of this because it's just like that's the worst thing about being so addicted to something that numbs you out, is like that drug has literally like killed people I love. It killed my best friend before my eyes. I went through abusive relationships where we were both addicted to it at literally 16 years old, and like the other person ended up doing so much that they were so bad to me and I like had to leave. And it's like all these things have happened to me that you would think you just like wouldn't do the drug. And that's like what sucks, that with battling addictive tendencies and battling being addicted to anything that can like numb you, you know, I was definitely just like taking enough to where it was like I wasn't trying to like kill myself, but I definitely didn't care if I died. And I think that that's the scariest road in the world you can possibly take. And that's like the road that so many people have taken, and it's killed them. I finally ended up, the night before we started shooting season 2, I told Jordan like how much I was taking, like when all that shit happened with my mom. And he was kind of like, so you tried to kill yourself? And I was like, no, I just like took this amount of pills. And he was like, but if you're taking that much, you know it can kill you. And like, you're okay with that. And that was the first moment where I realized I was so depressed that I didn't care if I lived. And then my cough continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I was seeing like online doctors and I was doing little things to try to get better, but I wasn't stopping smoking. And the problem was everyone around me cared about it so much. And they were like, Tana, like you need to fix this. And it was me at all times telling everyone like, I know my health is failing, but like I am the type of person, especially like I grew up like going to the doctor like 15 times. All of the instances I relate with the doctor, I relate to just like insane trauma, like my parents screaming at me in the doctor's office, like literally my dad like not paying and them coming and trying to collect the money, and my parents like beating me if I like wanted to go to the doctor, and just like all that kind of shit. And like everyone was being like, go to the doctor, and I was just being like, I know I need to, but like I don't care to be alive at all. And like I can't, like I couldn't even get up out of bed. And then MTV was like, let's start rolling. And then we were shooting 6 days a week. And every chance I got to sleep or to not shoot the show, I was laying in bed, like sobbing or numb or trying to get numb. And my cough just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And the thing that frustrates me so much is every day I was talking to MTV being like, if I'm going to show this amount of pain to the world, please make it something that people can learn from or watch and, get something out of it, or a lesson about mental health, or showcasing what depression can really be like for someone in my shoes or someone going through the things that I'm going through. I spent hours sitting in a confessional chair talking about how it wasn't that I don't care about a health issue this serious. It's simply that I am so depressed. I have no desire to live. I have no desire to take care of myself. I'm so depressed I can't get myself to take care of myself. And it's like I'm at the bottom of this hill and I know it's going to be this long journey and I just feel so lost and like I'm never ever going to get to that top of the hill. And like I sat there with MTV and filmed confessionals literally saying like I care about everyone else in my life's health. I would like die fighting for one of my best friends if this was happening to them. But like when it comes to me, I want to die so badly that like I don't care if this kills me right now. And I hope I get better, but I just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And then Jordan and I were just shooting 6 days a week, trying to have meetings afterwards. And I mean, I think MTV, they like the drama. They know how to, give us call times that make us really tired and give us phone calls and meetings that make us really stressed and, have the producers whisper little things to us that make us like bicker, and we fought a lot on the show, but also a lot of the things that are now edited to look like this major serious fight were sarcastic things we were saying to each other. Or it was 5 minutes of a heated discussion that gets chopped up into 2 minutes of a really heated discussion. And then all of the footage of us making up and having a great day is like cut out, And I get that that's what a reality show is going to do. But it's like, I love Jordan more than anything in the world. And I'm not going to say that I wasn't like a dick to him, but I promise you off camera, if I was a dick, I was apologizing. We were working through it. Like he was a dick a lot, but I know that Jordan's kind of the hero of this season when it comes to MTV's narrative. So do your fucking thing. And now fast forward to today, all of that ended up only making us stronger. And now it's like, we'll never fight again. Our bond is literally so unbreakable. We literally like got everything out of the way, and I feel like so much of a better person because of it. And I know that he does too, and I know how he really feels. So it sucks seeing the whole world think I like hate him or I like take him for granted, because it's like if there's anyone on earth that I like don't take for granted, it's Jordan. And that was just a really bad time. And I think Jordan is also the type of person that he expects more of me, and I think he'd still, even shooting the show at that time, didn't realize how bad things were, and wasn't at that point of those episodes didn't know how bad Jake and I were until Big Bear. And I know that the MTV's main goal is the drama and the tea and whatever, but I want you to know, like off camera, I love Jordan more than anything, and like our relationship is stronger than ever now. And yes, that was a crazy speed bump. Like I was my worst self. I wasn't Tana. I was completely dead inside. I was completely abusing every substance around me to be numb. And then when I wasn't on any of that, I just like wanted to die so much. I was so angry at the world and was so angry at having to do work. And I think I was so angry at Jordan too, inadvertently, for that, because I was like, you're the person, pushing me to do all this work. And like, he just wanted me to like wake up and get better. And I think I was so angry that he didn't understand that I couldn't. And then as my health was declining, I was seeing online doctors and had been looking into my symptoms, and everyone in my life that were doctors or, had family members that were doctors or were close to me or were looking out or whatever, all of the symptoms of everything I had was really shitty stuff. And after researching for a while, there was a point where I literally thought that what was wrong with me, and after seeing like urgent cares and doctors and online doctors, that I thought what was going to end up being wrong with me was something like tuberculosis or lung cancer or just lifelong really bad lung issues. And it was forcing me to give up the one thing that was keeping me numb enough to carry on and actually face all of these 21 years of problems. I was so depressed and wanted to die so badly that like the thought of something that I would have to nurture and take care of and make this road to recovery even harder just made it seem impossible. I was dreading it and dreading it and dreading it. And finally MTV was like, we want you to go see this specialist for the show. You can continue to take care of your health, off the record. I'm like, okay. And so they make the appointment, and, we're shooting this on day 6, hour 100 of shooting the show. I'm as miserable as I possibly can be. I'm exhausted. And throughout this whole episode, I'm still saying to Jordan, like, he's like, why don't you care about your health? And I'm like, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm so depressed. I don't care about anything. I want to die. And then it's him being like, well, you have to care. And it's me being like, I know, but I just can't. Everything I said in that car ride was about the mental health of it all. Like, I care about the world McDonald's health. If this was happening to anyone else, it would be so urgent to me. I'm just so depressed that it's difficult for me. We'd now been talking about this for months, and my friends had spent so much time like checking on me, kind of realizing that I didn't care, kind of becoming numb to it because there was nothing more that they could do. And now they were also expecting, there was so much buildup for like an insane diagnosis. Like everyone thought that this was about to be the year of something like failing my health and my whole career going to like stopping everything because like I was gonna die, and that was the day. That's why I'm crying in the episode. Jordan and I were like sarcastically bickering in the beginning, and then obviously, and I blame myself for even like being in such a mindset to just film like that and not even think about what MTV would do with it. But then it's like there are definitely a few clips that I'm saying something rude to Jordan, and it kind of looks like I'm saying it to the doctor, and I will go down as pretty much anything, but the one thing that infuriates me to go down as, and I'm refilming this video for like the third time because the first time I filmed this I was so angry about this specific thing that I am never ever 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 rude to a service professional ever. That is like the one thing I will never ever do. Because I was that person. I worked in a store and had people be rude to me all day every day when I wanted to die for $8 an hour, and like it sucked. And I think that really taught me through life, like you be the nicest person you can to anyone that's helping you in any way, and I always am. That doctor in that episode and I ended up becoming friends. My diagnosis was wrong. I don't even have asthma now, like so much, and I get it. This is the peak of the season where I look the worst, and then I'm like, I get how like reality TV works, and like the girl with the arm thing, like fucking so dope, and like she was a fan. We ended up taking photos and like dying laughing, and like everything was so cute for people to then think I was like rude to that girl, like, and even just for her to see that sucks for me. So it's like I have to kind of step in, and it's because I don't want to go down as someone who's like just a dick to people. You can say anything you want about me, but like I always have gone out of my way to be like known as the person who's always so nice to their fans and treats everyone like equal. Like, and yes, I was in a bad time and very upset to be there and like angry with Jordan in a lot of ways, but I still like thanked every person and had amazing conversations with them. And like I knew in the back of my head that if I could ever get to the point where I wanted to help myself, I would. And I would go back there and have a normal appointment without a million cameras and be so nice and put together. And like I would never go to a doctor's office like that either, like crying normally. I just like MTV kind of wanted the drama, and I didn't think the episode would end up the way it did. And I hate saying this because I know I look like shit, like kind of like going against a part of my show, but like I would much rather look like shit for that than look like shit for people thinking I'm a dick, especially to strangers. And with that being said, I know there's still probably people that are like skeptical about that, but like I know my truth when it comes to this. I'll talk more about this in a second when I talk about where I am now and give you kind of like a life update as to how I'm feeling now, because that will come more full circle. I know the type of person I am to the people every single day in my life and people that I talk to randomly and just in general. But even beyond that, like I just think that life is about being a good ass nice person. I hate that I filmed the show at such a bad time when I wasn't being nice all the time to Jordan. I hate who I was at that time shooting the show. I wish that footage wasn't out there. I wish I didn't even give anyone the opportunity to like edit me like that. But I know the kind of person I am, and I know who I am now, and I know I will never ever ever get back to a place that dark. And I think that I had to get to a point where I like almost killed myself and was my worst self for months, and everyone around me had to see that like decline, and like I just like fell apart in order to wake up one day and be like, wait, I'm like almost killing myself every night. I'm shooting the show like not even knowing what's going on fully because I'm just so depressed. I'm so angry at life and the world and Jordan, just the worst version of myself. I was still going to MTV being like, as long as this has a greater good and we can make art out of this pain and this ugliness, I'm okay with it. And it's like now that it's out and I'm in this good place now and I'm watching it, I'm just so angry at like what that is, I guess. And so then I come home to my friends who have been waiting for like 10 hours to shoot this one scene. MTV building them up all day, telling them like, what if Tana has lung cancer? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? And then I find out I have asthma, which I just want to say right now is a very serious thing. And in the show, I said that so many times shooting the show that day. Like, I think asthma is so serious. It's not that I think this is something to take lightly. It's just like when you think you might die this year of lung cancer and now you have something a little more manageable, there's a weight lifted. And it was just edited to make it seem like everyone in my life just like doesn't care about my health or me or the world's health or asthma like at all. And now we've all been getting like thousands of tweets about how we like all don't care, and that's like not it at all. Like Ashley has asthma and Trevor has asthma, and they both then were afterwards were coaching me through it because they thought that's what I had. And they all care like so much. They wouldn't have dedicated so much of their lives to me at such a dark time and being such good friends trying to help me and get me out of it if they didn't. And it breaks my heart that I've brought my friends onto this show that now makes them look like they don't. And I know me kind of just coming online being like, yeah, my friends care about me, like whatever, suck it. If you don't believe it, is like, it's not always the most convincing thing, but like I know that they care, and you will see that in my future content, and I hope you see that in like our content. We all just have a very family, sarcastic around relationship, but it sucks that everything we all said backing up a lot of the things that we said were cut out, and our worst sentences were taken completely out of context. And so then I ended up doing the inhaler for 10 days, and MTV kind of took a bunch of clips of me making jokes about not doing it and all that kind of stuff and like put it all together or whatever. I ended up doing it. My cough ended up subsiding and coming back and subsiding and coming back. And then I finally made a decision, probably 3/4 of the way through of shooting this season, where I knew that if I didn't change something, I was going to die, whether it was from a drug overdose or complete exhaustion or letting my like suicidal thoughts get the best of me, or if I didn't take care of my health to the point of like no return, you know? And it wasn't until I started having conversations with good people, sober people, people that had changed their lives or could give me good advice on those kind of things, I started to really listen. And the breakup like haze was finally over to an extent. And I had been just like going out so much to distract myself, and I'd been so much like press and paparazzi and people getting at me and all this just like craziness of like a breakup, you know? I didn't want to deal with any of it. I woke up one day and was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just existing. I'm not even living at all. I don't want to live. I've let my health get this bad because of my lack of will to live and like depression. And everyone in my life has tried to like save me and help me and be there for me, and like no one can do it. And I've been this person that I hate, and I've blamed it all on like everything up until this point. But now it's like I can either let 2019 ruin me forever or kill me, or I can like try to get out of this. Filming the season was starting to come to a close, and so I started getting a little more rest, and they stopped scheduling Jordan and I and so many things that were like making us fight. And I got an apartment in Hollywood alone because every day there were like 40 people from MTV at my house, and I felt like I just like couldn't even live. And like in my own house, I just like felt like I was like zoo animal on display. My house became this like Team 10 fucking house at all times, and I was like at the point of like almost dying. And so I got this apartment in Hollywood, and originally for a week to just work out every day, to go cold turkey on all drugs, to get sober, to smoke things without tobacco and fix my lungs and smoke less and start taking vitamins and medicine and sleeping there as much as I can, and just, you know, working on only things that I was passionate about. By the end of shooting season 2, it's just like I was very much like, why did you do this to yourself? Had you spent the last 6 months wanting to get better like you do now and just shooting YouTube content, you'd be so much better off. I'd like let this thing that I originally wanted to do and was so good like almost kill me. So I got this apartment in Hollywood, and I woke up day 1 in it and was like, this is the day I'm gonna change my life. And that was kind of when I started to realize I'm the only person that can change my life. I'm the only person that can make me better, that everyone else is amazing for trying. I can only find that within, and if I don't want to get better, like I'm just gonna fail every time. And so then I started to kind of come out of the mindset I'd been in the last 6 months, and then it was like I was looking at all this time that I didn't care, just like, wow, that's so sad how far away from myself I got and how depressed I got, that I literally didn't care about my own health to the point that I like could have died. I started caring about my health, and I started taking it really seriously. And then after seeing other doctors, I found out that I didn't even have asthma, and what was wrong with me was like a lifelong sinus infection, basically, from my parents never dealing with my nose problems and my nose bleeding every day. The way my blood vessels like are all here through the middle of my nose, which gives me like a permanent sinus infection, which makes my eyes swell and makes my lungs fill with phlegm to the point that I like can't breathe, and then like gives me like an asthma like thing that like is debilitating, and like that can kill you because you can drown out your own lungs. So then I started doing everything I could every single day to try to fix that, like taking all these sinus medicines, doing things to train my lungs back up to working again, not smoking things that hurt my lungs. And when I started to get healthier, I started getting my energy back. I started realizing like why I wanted to live. I was starting to like feel happy enough again to like do the thing that I love. And then it was just like this existential moment of like, you moved to LA to like make YouTube videos, and like how could you get yourself so far away from that, like to the point that like you're making the world's shittiest shittiest like Fashion Nova video, like to like get by. Like this is the thing that saved your life. Like you started this because you wanted to be someone like Shane Dawson, who like people could watch and laugh and forget about the darkness of their day. And like now you've killed yourself to the point that you like can't even make other people feel joy anymore because like you have like none left. Then it was just a lot of like soul searching and me really getting back to like who I was before all of this, and like making the decision to not jump into any other relationship. Like I felt myself being like single and how easy it would be to succumb and fall back into the like patterns of distracting myself with new things. And I really had to like rework my mindset in the way I've always thought and step away from all of that and only do the things that made me happy and that I was passionate about. And I finally got to this point where I was like, now I can turn a lot of this pain into art that will help other people. And I started to eventually, well, you know, my form of art, I don't know what you want to call that, but I started to eventually feel like purpose again. You know, I just hit rock bottom and almost fully lost myself in order to like help people. And I can turn all of this into something good, and I can turn my around like right now and make 2020 the best year of my life. And that's what I did. Literally from the moment I walked into that apartment, I didn't look back. I started only spending my time around people that I felt like made me want to live and people that were like me. And like I said earlier, I spent so much time around people I wanted to be like, and that ended up like leading me on a road that got me so far away from myself. Then I started surrounding myself again with the people that like I know are good for me and who I am and help me grow as a person, and started to like actually feel like real joy and happiness again. And then obviously I went to Jordan and we worked out our entire relationship, and I apologized to him for everything I've ever needed to apologize to him for in the last 5 years. And he did the same to me, and we both realized that like the methods we were going about things with each other and like arguing and stuff were so outdated, and we both got so far from understanding each other to a point of both of us just being so selfish and angry that the other person couldn't see our side. And we both came to the conclusion that like MTV put us under a crazy amount of pressure, probably to make us fight to probably make the season go the way it's going. Now we are like the strongest we've ever been. I've never felt so close to Jordan in my entire life, and I genuinely feel like I will never fight with him again. And I finally feel like I'm at a place to be like held accountable for my actions, responsible as fuck, on time with everything, like because I want to be alive. And it's still been a crazy journey, and I'm still only like 4 months out of it, you know? But in these past 4 months, I've changed my life more than I ever have, ever in my entire existence. And the way that I think and the way that I do things. And I think I'm finally back. Like I wake up every day and I feel like Tana again. I feel like me. I feel like the girl who like started all of this in a way. And don't get me wrong, with a lot of baggage that I'm trying to get rid of, but also a lot of like wisdom and the things that I've gone through. And it's made me very prepared for things like this now, because it's like I know the person that I am again. And I knew I would have to film something like this explaining like the darkest part of my life, which is hard. It's hard to let anyone in and make anyone understand like the darkest point of your life. I understand if people are angry at me for things that I said or the way that I acted. And I was angry at me in a lot of ways for being that. But all I can do from that is push that energy into being like the best version of myself I can be. And for the first time in my life and my career, I finally feel like I'm in the place to be a role model. And I've always shied away from that and said I'm not, and been so afraid of that because I always knew I wasn't in a place for people to be acting like me. And I always thought it was fine, and just like suppressed that thought by saying like, I don't want to be a role model. I don't know. I'm just living my life. I'm just documenting it. But it really took like wanting to die like that and feeling that pain like that to like want to like not ever want anyone else to feel like that, especially the people that love and support me. And after seeing everyone like stick by my side when I was like the lowest, worst version of myself, seeing all of you guys still love me and stick to my side, and even through this, just wanting an explanation and still being there for me. Like if I have a diehard fan base like this that loves me this much and is so incredible and it's like such a family, like I want to do everything I can to save them from feeling the way that I felt. And I lost sight of that, and I wasn't a role model. I did so many things in my career that now looking back I wish I didn't, because I would never want to influence anyone to like go down the path that I did. But now I feel like I'm on the other side and on the journey to getting so far away from that version of me. And I'll be damned if I like went through the hardest point of my life and made that decision for myself to get out of it and got out of it, and now I'm on the road to becoming like the best version of me that I can be if I like go down as rock bottom. Like I want to show everyone who I've become and encourage them that they can like do that too. And I want to use my platform from this point on, like realizing how many people will just watch me like do nothing, or watch something like these MTV episodes that like aren't helping the world in any way. I need to do things with this platform and this voice and this many people listening, this many eyes watching, even if they hate me. Like if I can make the world a better place, like that is now what I should be trying to do, because I'm in the place to like finally do that. And now I care about my health more than ever. And I never ever thought I would get to a point where I can even say that. I never thought I would get to a point where I would want to live again, where I would want to take care of myself and have that motivation and that energy. And like I now know what like the lowest point of depression is, and also what like to me feels like the highest point of like wanting to live. And I just want to help anyone get from like there to there. Now I finally feel like I'm in a place to get back to doing exactly what I started all of this doing, and that's being a YouTuber. And I know these episodes are still airing, and I'm sure I'll have more to say as they come out, but I filmed season 2 of my show with the intention of letting people see me at my darkest place, like divorce, relationships with the people around me at the lowest point, relationship with myself at the lowest point, like wanting to die, not wanting to live, like not being able to take care of myself, letting everything fall apart, with the intention of it being something that could help people. And I'm hoping that as the season turns around, people will see that, and MTV will leave all of that in more. But obviously I can't rely on that, and I know that reality shows are like, they're gonna always take, you know, the 20 most dramatic minutes. But now that I'm at such a like place.
Hey, this is real.
You made me food?
I mean, you said you wanted it last time, and then I didn't have enough.
I was just explaining like how y'all really thought I was gonna come home with like lung cancer, and it was just like a scene of like really joking around. And
it was like a running thing for a long time where like Tana probably has tuberculosis, so like it was kind of like a sigh of relief. Like when you came home, like I have asthma, and we're like, okay, because
it's not something that we don't like care about. I don't know. I'm really just talking about the way the show was edited for like drama and how we are and like. Real life.
Yeah. Also, think about the fact that like we filmed for like 12 hours. Like the scene that like we were sitting down talking in the fire pit area, like we filmed for like 3 hours. There was like 3 minutes of editing.
Yeah. Even Trevor and I in that scene were talking about like just depression and not wanting to take care of yourself, and that's like what the asthma thing was for me. Like that whole sickness, that whole time, like I wanted to take care of myself. I was just like so depressed.
Mm-hmm. And you still were taking care of yourself too, like
trying, failing though.
Well, I feel like you were still using your inhaler. Like what was like directed, like you were using the inhaler, and I feel like they made it look like you weren't gonna use the inhaler, like you weren't gonna take it at all. Like you took it 10 days in a row.
Drama. It's not even that. I guess I wouldn't even be filming this if that episode didn't make me look rude to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because like
I'm gonna go eat breakfast now.
I love you. I care about you.
It's literally like 4 p.m. I'm like gonna have breakfast. But
quarantine things. And so now I'm just at this place where I am the happiest I've literally ever been in my entire life. And I feel like I'm on the road to becoming like the best me I've ever become. And I'm finally ready to be like back to YouTube, making funny. But obviously the show airing of me at like the worst time of my life is also airing, and it's a really weird conflict, and I'm not too happy about it. And I think that I've learned a lot about reality TV and will continue to learn a lot more about it throughout this season airing. I think that because of everything that happened in 2019, everything online, including the show, everything, I came to a conclusion by the end of 2019 that I did not want to do anything for the rest of my life or the rest of my career that was not authentic to myself and who I am, and 100% honest. And I don't care if like that's not what I should be doing. That is what I'm going to do. And so I shot the show, thought that, you know, a verbal promise of the way things would look would be around mental health, and that's like why I was okay with it. And now it's hard seeing it air and it not be as authentic to me as I would like. And it's nothing against MTV. It makes for great entertainment, and I hope that people are entertained watching through the season. There's nothing I can do about it. The season's gonna air, and all I can really say is it was the darkest time of my life. I probably shouldn't have done it. I did it in hopes of it being something that could help people. I still hope that it eventually turns out that way. If it doesn't, there's nothing I can do but say this kind of stuff and move on. But I think in the future, when it comes to doing more things like that, I might have learned a valuable lesson, or would make sure things go in a very different way. Now that I've said that, I hope people take what I've said as my truth, because that's as honest as I know how to be. And a lot of the things I said in this video are things I've been needing to say and was gonna say anyway. It just happened to come at this time and be a little bit of a scandal. There might be people that don't forgive me or want to continue to think that I'm like the person that like they saw on that show. I know my truth. I know who I am. I know how I treat people, and I know where my relationships in my life are at now, and I know the person I am now, and that's all I have control over. I've always said that. I definitely had to hit rock bottom to go up, and I'm very grateful to everyone in my life for being so incredibly like patient with me in that journey, because because it was really, really, really fucking dark, and it shouldn't have been anyone else's problem. And the people in my life were so nice enough to love me and care about me enough to be there by my side every step of the way through something so fucking dark and up like that time. And that's why, like, I know those people are family, and I know how much they care, and I know all of our like intentions toward everything health related. I'm so grateful for the place that we're all at now. I just feel bad that the show makes anyone look away that like they're not, but here we are. And so now, with all of that being said, I'm moving on to the final most important part of this video. I didn't want to start talking about the health of the world or what I can do to help that without saying everything that I just said. It really took me hitting rock bottom and not caring if I died, and waking up and realizing like the fragility of life, and like that I don't want to die and that I do want to live, and like starting to make those decisions and making them for myself and actually wanting that like from within, that I was like, holy like health is so important. And as I got better, I became more and more passionate about advocating for that, because I really realized like how important life is. And it's crazy the timing of things, because I think that I knew when the show aired that I would be coming online, kind of like vindicating myself from these episodes and being like, look, I just wanted to die and didn't care about my own health, but now I do. And like, let's all care about our health together. And like, I want to use my platform in the future to show you guys how much I care about mental and physical health. And that's why I filmed all of those videos, like getting better, so I could show you that footage, so I could help you, so I could turn like my worst times into something good. I obviously didn't know that there would be a global pandemic. Oh, hi. Hey, friend.
Hey, 6 feet now, 6 feet.
Hey, Jordan came over to play basketball because we're friends again.
Oh, it's that kind of video, huh?
I obviously didn't know that there would be a global pandemic at the same time that videos of me looking like I don't care about health at all would be airing. And it is probably the worst time in the world for me to look like I don't care about health when I so desperately do. And it's kind of just my luck. Perfect time to, you know, make a scandal like this one. But I care about health, people's health, and the world's health more than ever. And now it's like in a situation like this where there are like millions of eyeballs on me over like stupid drama created by my reality show. I want to turn that many people watching me into something good, especially at a time where like I now am able to care about not only my health, but like the world's health and like what I can do with my platform. And I'm so grateful that I went through everything I did before that, so that I can be this like best version of myself at a time that I can like come online and use my platform and be my best self and like help the world. Because I like had this happen when I was so depressed, I don't think I would have had it in me to like campaign for world health when I like couldn't even care about my own. So I'm so glad I'm now at a point where I'm so happy and healthy that I can like focus my time into seeing what I can do to help the world. So with all of this being said, our world is in a crisis right now. It's terrifying. And I think we're all in the same boat where we're just like sitting at home watching what's happening on the news, like doing what we can, staying inside. Hopefully everyone is doing that, like washing our hands, you know, cleaning our houses, whatever. And we're all just kind of in fear, and the world is like falling apart, and it sucks, and it's so fucking to see. But that's where someone like me, who has like millions of young people watching, needs to like step up. And also like I have so much privilege compared to so many people in the situations that they're in right now. I have like the only job in the world where like I still have a job and I'm like happy and like I can do my job at home. And once I started to really see what was like going on in the world, I was like, damn, like I am now dedicating like every second of every day to figuring out how I can use my platform to help the most amount of people. I mean, first and foremost, it's obviously just spreading this message to you guys. The world is in a very scary place right now, and it's so easy to act in fear, but I think it's really important that we channel that fear into like a fire in us and like a passion to do everything we can to help the world with every resource we have. Some people obviously have more resources and are luckier than others, but I think it's all about those people realizing what they have and giving as much of it back as they can. Even if all you can do is stay inside, even if you don't care to live, even if you're like, this, I'm not going to get coronavirus. You going outside, you could come into contact with one person who has it, get it, have no idea you have it, feel nothing, go home and get your parents sick. You could go home and get anyone in your household sick. You could get anyone around you, your friends, if you're hanging out with them, sick. And one person can go infect 10 people. And that's literally how a pandemic slowly spreads. And seeing so many people acting in fear and buying a bunch of toilet paper and freaking out, like that is not what we need to do. We need to use this feeling to check on other people in every way that we can, and helping other people in any way that we can, even if that's giving, you know, $2 to a neighbor, or calling someone around you and making sure that they're okay. Or if you know someone that's elderly or can't get out of the house or pregnant, or you can even call them and make sure they just have like food and water and stuff like that. Like staying 6 feet away from everyone, just doing everything, being as clean as we can, being as mindful as we can, checking on people, social distancing. It's time for all of us to just really be like the best version of ourselves we can be, because the world needs us to. And then on top of that, any resources anyone has to give even $1 or $2 to something like Feeding America, I hope that you guys want to take part with me in donating to Feeding America. I will continue to make donations to other things I believe in. Right now, I have donated to Feeding America and giving to the California Community Foundation, because even $1 to Feeding America, that's like 2 school lunches for a kid that the only time they normally get to eat is in school, and now school is shut down and that kid is not eating. And it's like, I see something like that and it's just like, I would have been that kid years of my life where the only time I was really eating was at school, or the only things my parents could get to cook were the cheap like dollar boxes of things like cheeseburger mac, or things that had a food stamp stickers by the item in the grocery store. And it's like, now if all of the food stamp items are gone, any families that can only afford that are walking into the store and walking out empty-handed because other people were selfish and scared and took those, or took all of the cheap things like ramen and stuff like that, and now people are going hungry. So I just like, I've never seen something like this, that like if I was in the place I was growing up, it would have affected me tremendously in so many ways. And now that I have the things I have, I just want to give back in every way that I can. So I will be linking those 2 charities below, and if you guys can even donate $1, you have no idea how much that helps people. And so beyond that, once I realized I could donate and I could encourage people to donate, and that's an amazing first start with like the platform I have, I've been working every day to see what else I can do with my platform. I'm still in kind of like the ending phases of these things, but fingers crossed in the next couple videos, I will have some insane announcements that I never thought I would have, or would have such a fire lit in me to go out of my way to make these things happen. And like together, this platform and this family can come together and like be our best selves and change the world. So I'm just really excited to announce these things. Fingers crossed everything goes well and we can get the ball rolling on doing everything we can together as a family from inside of our houses right now to help the world. And it's the first time I've really had a fire lit under me to do everything I can to like change the world. And I'm so grateful that I hit rock bottom, because learning how such a fucked up mindset like that can literally take away your life taught me how fragile life is and how important health is. Again, I'm just so sad and upset and beside myself at how many people think I don't care about health. You guys, like, my fans are my world. I love my fans more than anything. You could stub your toe or have a bruise, or down to the fans that I've literally met who had leukemia or cancer or life-threatening illnesses. I have always cared about your guys' health more than anything in the world, and that's never something that stopped. There was just a point that I didn't care about mine, and I didn't convey that message properly. And I tried to express it as best as I could to MTV, that it really just was like, I don't care about myself, and I don't want to live, and I don't know how to take care of myself when I'm this depressed. And it wasn't until after that, the decision to make myself better and fix my life and turn it around, that I was able to get healthy. And now I'm at a place where I just never want people to go through what I've been through. And I'm finally healthy and happy enough to use what I have to like really try to change the world. So I really want to put all of this drama like beside us, and I'm hoping the season starts to show some of the better moments and how Jordan and I started to really make up and mend our relationship, and how I did start to really care about my health toward the end and like change everything and fix those relationships. But it also just might be really drama filled, and I might continue to have to make clarification videos like this throughout this season. And even though those 5-6 months were the worst times of my life, I learned the most I ever have about myself. And I'm so happy that I made it out to the other side, like alive and wanting to live, and now wanting to like be my best self. And I really hope I can help other people to change their lives in those kind of ways, and reflect, even in your darkest times, how you treat the people around you, just how important being healthy and happy is. Because if you don't have those things, you can destroy your entire life. From this point on, I want to be using my platform to do everything I can to educate all of you to be as safe and as healthy as you can during something as terrifying and dark as a global pandemic. And I want us to do everything we can to come together while staying inside to help anyone else less fortunate than us and just try to keep our spirits up. Now that I have gotten all of that off of my chest, I know this video has been an emotional roller coaster and I've said a lot of things just very bluntly, but like I spent 6 months of my life feeling like that every day. And now I finally feel like I'm on the other side of it and I'm so happy and I'm living every day so fucking happy. Now when I talk about that, it is just kind of like I wanted to die. I didn't want to get better for a really long time and I didn't care if I lived and I was really fucking depressed. But I woke up one day and somehow made a change and turned my whole life around. And I'm now surrounded by people who make me my best, most authentic me. I've gotten back to living my life for only what I'm passionate about and wanting to make other people smile and laugh again because I can smile and laugh again. And I know from this point on, I won't do anything that is not the most authentic thing I can do because like that's what I've been put here to do. 2019 really tested all of that. And on top of that, just tested like me as a person. Now I'm like in the up and life is great again. I'm just so excited for the content I'm putting out because now it's like I'm gonna make whatever the I want and I'm gonna make people laugh and I'm gonna do everything I can to distract people from the darkness in the world, but also accept that like I have this platform with millions of people listening to the things I say and I can do more to be a better person and make the world a better place. And I needed to almost be the exact opposite of that and hit that darkest, lowest point to understand how important life is and how important what I have is. And I'm finally ready to like face that head on. And I think as a family, like all of us together can change the world. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking by my side through that time. There were points where I was literally like crying on the floor of my bedroom every day, like wondering how the whole world could like love me and stick through my side and send me nice comments. And when like I couldn't love myself, and even in all these times where like I was up and making mistakes, like you guys still forgave me for that because you knew that I was just like, I hate to say troubled, but like troubled. Okay, my tripod broke, which probably means I should just like end this video because it's already like 43 hours long and I'm sure I left out a lot of things, so I'll try to answer more things in the comments below. But I guess I just really want to thank you guys for sticking by my side through everything, and even now just being like, we want an explanation but we love you, we want you to get better. The fact that you couldn't care about your health this much is appalling. Like you guys just wanted to like open my eyes, and I thank you for like even giving me the space to clarify this or wanting to listen at this point, because in reality those 6 months of my life when I was that person, it would have been so easy for every single one of you to just give up on me and move on to supporting someone else. I'm so lucky and so blessed. I hate that now when I know that so much and I'm so grateful for all of you and I'm so happy and so healthy that you're seeing something that makes you think otherwise or makes you think I don't care about you. Like I care about you guys and always have and always will more than anything on this planet. Thank you for sticking by my side through all of this. And if you've made it this far, I want you to know at this point in my life, at this point of 2020, I'm the best version of myself I can be, and I'm ready to really show you how much I've turned my life around and myself around and this person that I've become, because I've been keeping it from you for a very long time until I felt like I was mentally stable enough to say everything I said in this video. And I'm going to continue to do these videos. I still have so much more to say about my past, my family, addiction, cutting out certain things, cutting out people, my life now, like all of that kind of stuff. But I will just be showing you that in the next upcoming videos, and I want to try to shut the up about drama and just like save the world in any way I can, then just continue to like redundantly talk about it all like this. And I know it's going to be a hard struggle as episodes continue to air, but I hope that you see who I am and who I've become in the next few months, and that I listen to all of you and your comments, and I let the things that you say act as constructive criticism to becoming a better me. And this was a crazy wake-up call for me, seeing how angry the world could be if I was that kind of person, and it makes me so glad that I'm not. Thank you for getting this far with me, and I'm excited to show you how far I've come. And I know that this is one of the steps to really moving on and putting that time of my life to rest. And I'm just really excited for the future of this YouTube channel, because I am finally, after a long detour, very much back to just being Tana and being a YouTuber and being happy and being a good person. I have really big announcements coming soon for what we all can do together with this platform to really help the world, and I hope that I can continue to show you how my mindset has so drastically changed from MTV, and that the ways that I've looked in these episodes is not who I am, especially now. And I'm really excited to show you that. Life is good. I'm really happy. I can't wait for you to see that. I am so sick of feeling defined by the worst time of my life, and I'm going to do everything in my power to like get out of that, getting to go back to just being like a happy YouTuber without all the stress of all this, especially when the it isn't even like worth it. Jordan's here and we're friends, and I'm gonna go play basketball with him, and we're not gonna fight. Here's to 2020 finally starting for me. Here's to me finally talking about the last 6 months of my life and getting to start to put it to rest and be a new, better bitch. I love you guys. Thank you again for everything. I linked the California Community Fund below and Feeding America below if you want to match me in my donations. Please do. And I'll be talking to you guys in the beginnings of my next few videos about more things that we can do as a family to help the world in the place that it's in. For now, please stay inside. Please be clean. Please be smart. Please don't be driven by fear. Please think about all of the other people who have it so much worse than you. Support small businesses and anyone you know that's affected by things like that. And let's all just do our best to get this planet back to a better place. I also feel like I got a lot of things off my chest today that I've really been wanting to for a really long time. And as much as a video like this really scares me, I hope that the things I've said can help even just one of you, but hopefully more than that. I hope to now be able to be there for as many of you as I can be so that you don't have to go through things like that. And I hope we can do a lot of amazing together. I also did spend the last month or so designing new Dizzy hoodies with Jordan, and then obviously with everything that's going on in the world right now and everything that was going on drama wise in my life right now, it just felt so disingenuous to like promote those and just be like, look, new Dizzy hoodies. But I came to an awesome conclusion with Fanjoy to where all of the profits of these brand new Dizzy hoodies will go directly to helping people affected by COVID-19 and to Feeding America, where we can give meals to people who really need it right now. And I'm so happy that something that I worked hard on is now going to be going to such a good cause, especially with the success of the last Dizzy hoodies. I really saw how many people like wanted those and like how crazy the sales of something like that could be. So to now be able to put that towards something so good feels so good in such a like first step to helping people. And obviously this to me is something so minor. Like I want to do so much more, but obviously while I'm still finalizing all of the things that I'm working on, to be able to say right now, if you guys want to help right now, you can donate to Feeding America in a way and get sent a Dizzy hoodie, and that's pretty cool. That's another thing that I'm doing right now, but obviously, like I've been saying, there is a lot more to come. I'm really thankful to Fanjoy for letting me do something so good with this money and making it really easy for my fans to have a way to donate, but also get something in exchange. I just feel like the time I spent designing that hoodie, like that energy, like this is the best thing I can put that into right now, is like helping the world. So they're like below, they're pretty cute. They're tie-dye. There's a green one, there's a pink one. The glitter doesn't come off when you wash it. Okay, I'll stop promoting the hoodie, but videos like this are always very weird to outro. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to go. I love you. Stay safe.